What's up everyone, Joshua Brewster here, and today we're going to be taking a look at Donald J. Trump's very first week of presidency. A lot of my information is going to be coming from a website that tracks Donald Trump's progress. He's been a very, very busy man, so let's see what he's done so far. So I'll be covering the dates from the 20th to the 27th. And you can actually see all this on the website. There's going to be a link down below. So as of the 25th, we're in the progress of fully funding and constructing the border wall. Finally! Because we need some good immigration laws and enforcement. There's even talk of hiring more border patrol agents. Yes, we need to protect our borders. And as it's been said many, many times, a nation has to have borders. Also, as of the 25th, they have started or are in the process of getting rid of the criminal illegal aliens. Well, of course, all illegal aliens are criminals, but ones who have been criminally charged that have been caught. And then on the 27th, we've seen the beginning of the creation of a better vetting process. On the 25th, we've also seen the progress of canceling funding to sanctuary cities, and that needs to happen. There should not be cities in our own country defying the government like this, because we shouldn't harbor illegal aliens in our own country. What the heck? Who thought that's a good idea? Oh wait, the leftists who actually hate the country. And also, on the 27th, we've seen, of course, like a better screening process. I mean, we need protection from potentially dangerous terrorists who might be sneaking in as refugees. We definitely don't need that, because under Obama, they just kept on flowing in and flowing in. Something that has been implemented is to withdraw from the Trans-Pacific Partnership, and that was on the 23rd. Another big one is to lift the roadblocks on the infrastructure on projects like the Keystone Pipeline, and to allow them to just go ahead and move forward. And then I think there was a little futile protest about that, and it's got the green light. We're just going to move on. As for the federal government, he's put a freeze on all federal hiring except for military and public services. One of the promises he made is for every federal regulation that's created, 2 more have to be removed. And that's because, well, we've got too big of a government. We need to shrink it as much as possible. Heck, we could balance our budget if we cut funding to so much stuff. Definitely need to cut funding to Planned Parenthood. That should never, ever be sanctioned or funded by the federal government. Never. So I feel very confident we're going to see some of that stuff. Of course, that has to be gone through Congress, so it's going to be a little while probably, but I'm certain we'll see some action in that way. I mean, even when Donald Trump was speaking to some big guns at some of the corporations, he invited them over to a meeting. He said we might even be able to cut regulations as much as 75%. So that makes me think, yeah, there must have been thousands of regulations implemented during Obama's 8 years that can just get cut. I mean, Trump can just use, executive orders to basically reverse Obama's legacy. Oh boy. Anyway, getting on to the last few points. And of course, another major one, repeal and replace Obamacare. Yes, it was designed to fail from the very, very beginning. In fact, Obamacare is there just to make as many insurance companies fail as possible and crush them so that it just becomes a single-payer system where the government controls healthcare. And no, we don't need socialized healthcare. We've seen a lot how that happened and how it's completely failing in countries that implement communism and socialism. Even up in Canada, I've heard it's not that great. Waiting times are out the wazoo. But that's because there's not that many facilities because the government controls everything. Terrible idea. Obamacare is just junk, and so it needs to be repealed. Now that we're done with that list of executive orders and such, now let's look and see what the administration has done aside from things on that list. So right here, something that I actually kind of like. Basically, the Spanish readout for the White House website, whitehouse.gov, is completely gone. There's no Spanish version of it. That's great. There's a few reports on there, and you know the leftists are going mad because, oh, it's so racist. Even though you're supposed to speak English to get into this country, assimilate. Also, on the very last day of the Obama administration, just literally hours before inauguration, John Kerry tried to send over $200 million to Palestine. What? And he said, "Oh, don't worry, it's just gonna go to help them. It's gonna be for good." Of course it's not. You don't just send money to Palestine. That's pretty much the last slap in the face to Israel they could get. So, actually, that money is now under review, according to reports. Also, Trump has tweeted out that he has plans to investigate voter fraud in a few certain areas. As to where, we're not really sure, but the Department of Justice would handle a case like this. And the last thing I have on my list here of other accomplishments, I mean, there's just so many of them. He tweeted out that he's going to make his selection for the Supreme Court Justice on the Thursday of this week. So good. Good for you, Mr. Trump. You're getting a lot done. I can't wait to see the coming years, because if you keep it up at this pace, we're going to be completely dismantling Obama's legacy, and he's going to become, well, he actually already is one of the most forgettable presidents, and managed to make things worse than they already were. So, congrats, Mr. Trump. There's a few things that I'm not particularly really happy about that he's done. I'm going to do another video about that. So thank you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video.